And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and it is Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for the toy news, action figure news of the week that interested me, that hopefully interests you, and a fairly light week of toy news this week. Not a bad thing for sure, as it's been pretty overwhelming the last month or two between weekly purchases and toy news, with tons and tons of stuff hitting. So this week, a little bit quieter, but boy, we got some big news and we got some conspiracies, as usual. Seems to be the norm the last couple of months as well. But let's get into a little bit of housekeeping. This week's toy news brought to you by jaystoysandgames.com. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 15% on all in-stock items. Yes, you heard that right. 15% over there at Jay's Toys and Games. Check them out. Thank them for sponsoring the channel here. Of course, Patreon, new month. It is the month of November. This week we did the giveaway over on the Patreon for October, but we're in November now. What is the giveaway? It is Brody Lee AEW, I guess Ring of Honor technically, Jazzwares Vault exclusive. So head over to the Patreon, link in the description down below. Check it out. Pick up your own Brody Lee if you are the winner, of course. But a very fun figure. We did unbox that on the channel as well. Check out that review if you did miss it right there. But now let's get into it. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into the toy news this week. Jesse, you ready to go?
You ever wonder if they're watching your every move? Cell phones, internet, surveillance. Think about it.
Oh, baby, we're here. We're talking Powertown Wrestling. Oh, my gosh, they just can't get out of the way of themselves, it seems like, here. And I feel like I just bash on Powertown, but I feel I'm fairly constructive in my criticism, and I think it is a fair criticism here. We talked about the conspiracies. We talked about the free figures. That'll kind of roll into this a little bit here today. But this week, old friends at Powertown, they announced they were reopening, yes, you heard it here, reopening the pre-orders for the Remco figures, their Ultras Series 2, and the TNA line. And I gotta say, that really was disappointing to read that message. I think it came Thursday of this week. What is time, as we do say. But really disappointing for me specifically, because you guys know, got to get a deal out there. I don't want people sitting on my money. I've said that since the infancy of the channel. I don't want people getting free interest-free loans on me. And unfortunately, that is exactly what's happening. And you guys, you know me, and maybe a lot of you watching, sound off in the comments. I got almost $900 tied up in Powertown right now. Now, I would like to have that $900 back, and I would like to, be able to use that or garner interest, whatever I want to do with it. It's my money. Instead, I have that tied up in those pre-orders of all the ones we just listed. So now we've had those since the early of 2024. I think February, March, April timeframe, those three went up for pre-order. Now they are open up again here in November, second week in November. What is time once again? All that time, what was going on? I don't think anything has happened. I don't think they've moved production forward. Nothing has happened with that. There's been rumors they have possibly lost their factory. They're getting back into a different factory, and that could be the reason they reopened these ones up, because they needed more product. They needed more sales to hit the minimum order requirements. Now, I don't know that. That's just me looking in the old Magic 8-Ball trying to figure it out. But it is very, very concerning for any of these companies to sit on our money for a long time. It is what it is. Like Super 7s of the world, you kind of know what you're getting into. You can work with the big bad toy stores of the world. You can do different ways around that, and we've talked about that on the channel as well. But this time, nothing happened. Basically, let's call it March through now. There's no production, there's no nothing. Now they're opening this back up, hoping to get some last-second orders. And it was a little bit dicey, I thought, in the thing where they said, by popular demand, we've reopened the pre-orders. I don't know about you guys. I haven't heard anybody clamoring for the pre-orders to be back open. I haven't heard anybody, and I'm in a lot of different Facebook groups, message boards and stuff. I haven't heard anybody chirping saying, reopen that TNA series. Let's get that back open. I haven't heard that, but I think that is a good way to soften the message and saying, hey, we need more sales. We need more orders to make this a viable launch right here. So very interested to see where this dives into. It's also very disappointing because Well, let's admit it, there's a lot of collectors out there that collect for values, and they said, this is the only time you're going to be able to pre-order these. This is it. This is your last chance. Daily messages from Powertown. Ultra Series 2 closing on Friday, whatever it was. And it was talking the perceived scarcity of these figures. This is your only chance to get it. Well, just like we saw with Series 1 being opened up multiple times, here we are with the Series 2, the TNAs, and of course the Remcos. Everybody thought, wow, I got in good. Okay, this is the order. Now all of a sudden the orders could double, and all of a sudden, I wouldn't say they're worthless, but they're not going to be as worth as much because now there's going to be more product out there for the masses. So some collectors that collect for value, collect for resale. Not the best thing. 401k is probably the best way to go if you're looking to make some money. However, people are probably pretty up in arms like, wait a minute, you just devalued these figures. They're, once again, not going to be as worth as much because now there's going to be more in the populace or whatever you want to call it there. So a lot of weird stuff, but it is very concerning because I don't think any work has been done. And one thing I should mention, Brian Myers, Matt Cardona 2-pack, this is not part of it. They didn't reopen that one. The major pod group over there, as we talked about last week, has been showing off pictures of these, showing, hey, they're well on their way. They're making their way through. It's weird to me, once again, they're the ones showing this and not the Powertown group. You think Powertown would be saying, look at this, we're doing this, we're doing this. Instead, radio silence. And I've heard they've been deleting some messages out of Facebooks and not answering emails as well. It's the age-old question or the age-old saying, phrase we say on this channel, you lose a customer a loaf at a time, you get them back a slice at a time. And man, Powertown's doing everything they can to lose all these loaves of bread because there's a lot of people frustrated. There's a lot of people that are saying, I am never pre-ordering from them again. They are really going to be facing an uphill battle, and it's very disappointing because, as I said from the announcement of Series 1, this is what I'm looking for in this day and age for wrestling figures. I want a touch of classic superstars back in the game on a consistent level, and unfortunately it's been anything but consistent at this point. It's been very disappointing with Powertown. So Jesse Ventura running wild with conspiracies. He's putting all kinds of stuff out there that I shouldn't even be talking about here on this channel. I'm going to try to vet him a little bit, and then maybe we'll talk about it a little bit more here. But it just is really very strange, you know, not to admit why they're reopening these. I don't feel there's the clamor out there, people saying, open it, open it, open it. I haven't felt that groundswell anywhere. Maybe you have, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm missing something. Feel free to shout it out in the comments down below. But it is very, very concerning here. And what happens if 5 people order these? I don't know what the numbers will be. I don't know. You guys, once again, tell me, are you going to jump in on some of these now? If anybody does, will they meet their minimum order requirements? Will they be able to be viable? Will they be able to make their money? And we always hear break even. Will they be able to break even? Well, newsflash, no company wants to break even. Every company wants to get profits. They want to get more. They don't want to just come out all this work just to break even. They want to put some money in the bank. They want to put some extra money in their pocket. So will they be able to do this? Have they bitten off more than they could chew? My gut says yes, but I am very anxious. I'm still holding out hope that we do get these figures with the timetables they have said. Once again, they said, hey, we're sticking to these timetables. I hope that is true. I guess we'll find out in 2025. So there's the little Powertown update. Not good news from where I sit. And of course, you guys know, right here at this very table. So there it is right there. Moving on to some other wrestling news, we did see from our friends over at Ringside Collectibles, use discount code Kyle, save 10%. Greatest Hits Series 7 coming in January 2025. Looks like we're getting another Shield Seth Rollins. We're getting the Usos, old school Usos with the old face paint. So cool to see those guys back out. We're getting another more modern day Batista. Modern, I don't know if you can call any Batista modern day at this point, but more modern day Batista, we'll call it that one. The ones that's really intrigued the nation, Ron Simmons. It looks like it's going to be that Hall of Champions re-released. I really hope it's like the picture depicts and we get him in purple. That would be amazing. Hopefully that is the case there. Rey Mysterio back again, no stranger. The Undertaker, no stranger. And then Hulk Hogan kicking off 2025 like he kicked off 2024. Back in the saddle again. Another Hulk Hogan in the Greatest Hits Series 7. Pre-order at Ringside right now. Also, Greatest Hits Ultimate Series 5. Seth Rollins, an amazing figure back in action. And then another Hulk Hogan. So we'll see what those ones are. Obviously, basically re-releases is what those are going to end up being. We also saw a few other things this week in the wrestling headspace there. We did see Zombie Sailor Toys once again soliciting his Jeff Jarrett Elite style figure. No pre-order, no nothing, just I guess stoking the flames a little bit there. I'm just very glad he's not taking that Powertown way of doing things and taking our money, and we'd be sitting here for about a year and a half at this point. But have to imagine that'll be an in-stock release when the time does come. So more news on that when we do get that there. This week, I will say, plugging this YouTube channel, I did do another top 5. 2 weeks ago, I did my top 5 most disappointing things with the Mattel toy lines. Of course, WWE toy lines, that is. This week, had to do the other side of the coin. Jazzwares AEW. My top 5 most disappointing things with those figures. Check out those reviews if you want to. Sound off in the comments of that video if you want to as well. But nothing is perfect, but I always keep saying we're living in a fabulous time for collecting. So as bad as it seems sometimes, it's maybe not as bad as years past. Who knows? That's, I guess, for you to decide on that one there. And speaking of top 5, top 10s, we're getting into that time of year. It's time for me to get all that Kenny Rogers Western wear, those vintage shirts from the 80s. Time to pull those back out as it's time for the best ofs as we rank everything that we review here on these channels, be it McFarlane, Super 7, NECA, all the different wrestling lines, retros, worst figures of the year. You name it, all those best of lists we've done every single year. It's time to start those again. We'll probably start those again next Thursday, or this coming Thursday, I should say, as a top 5, top 10. So be on the lookout for a lot of those videos. I got a lot of work to do, of course, by the end of the year to do a lot of those videos. Those are very time consuming, but we'll get it done. We always do. What is time? And everybody always says, how do you have time? Well, if you want something bad enough, guess what? You'll find the time for it. That's what I will say right there. So be on the lookout for those top 5, top 10 year-end best of lists coming to the channel very, very shortly. More wrestling news this week. Rush Collectibles. We don't talk a ton of Rush Collectibles. They've kind of lost me with everything outside of wrestling, and they're really doing a lot outside of wrestling at this point here. So it's a little hard to keep track of. They start a Kickstarter, then it's just open sale. I can't keep track, and if I can't keep track, it's probably tougher for others to keep track as well. I'm a little bit more in the weeds than maybe some. I think that's a fair assessment there. This week they did start selling for like $6.99 with $10 shipping. Mr. Perfect towels, so you can use them with your Hasbros and stuff. And a lot of people dogging on Rush Collectibles for this. At the end of the day, guess what? You vote with your wallet. He can put up whatever he wants for sale, but he gets a lot of people talking. There's a lot of people that make notice. They make Facebook posts about it. Guess what? You're promoting that business, and you might think it's bad. It might be funny, and a lot of times it is, but you're also causing awareness across the board. So if you're hoping for a company to fail, one of the things that is the worst to do is give them publicity. Don't talk about them, ignore them. That's what I would say. But there's been a lot of publicity about these towels, which controversy creates cash. Eric Bischoff coined that phrase a long time ago. Now, I'm not paying $6.99 for a towel, but somebody probably is. And it is what it is. So it's a funny thing. I've got a little chuckle out of it. But you know what? Guess what? There's a lot of people that sell accessories. There's a lot of people that do that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of people joking mostly about, though, some of the misspelled words and things like that. So you got to use spell check on things. But Rush, Mr. Perfect Towels, if you're out there, rushcollectibles.com. Head over there and pick those ones up if that is your thing. Moving on to other retro toys, grapplers and gimmicks. You guys probably saw my social media post this week. Got a bunch of those figures in, so I'm going to get unboxing those hopefully into next week. Stay tuned. Of course, as usual, early on Patreon. There are so many videos on Patreon every single day. There's just so much stuff. I feel like I'm way behind on action figure unboxings. I got like 100 figures to unbox sitting there right in front of my face, just staring a hole in me. So I got my work to do, of course, but I can only put so many videos out on. 4 videos a day is probably too much. Let's be honest right there. But I'm not going to put 10 videos out a day. However, if you're a Patreon member, you get all that stuff. You can flush through all that kind of stuff. So much going on. But grapplers and gimmicks, we will be unboxing those. But we did see it looks like the next round of figures. We got Waylon Mercy and one Coco Beware, of course, the Birdman himself. Getting retro figures of both them. Both look really good. Constant learning, constant improvement. Very, very impressed with the grapplers and gimmicks line. I really, in the top of my head right now, talking about those best of top 10 lists and stuff, doing the retro top 10 for this year is going to be very, very difficult. That could be the hardest one to do this year. There's been so many good retro figures. Very easily could be the hardest top 10 to put together, at least for me. Maybe not you, but for me for sure. But we got those two to look forward to and a lot of unboxings to look forward to the next couple of weeks. FOCO back again. We're up and down. Sometimes I talk about it, sometimes I don't. We did see Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior bobbleheads. Very, very strange. Hogan whispering, or Warrior whispering in Hogan's ear. It looks great. So a wild, wild 2-pack there. I can only get so many bobbleheads. I'm not a bobblehead guy, and then I look and I have like 15 bobbleheads, but I'm not a bobblehead guy. I'm going to be passing on this one, unfortunately. Is what it is. You can only collect so much stuff, of course. Major stars, they showed off some images this week. We did see Macho Man, kind of a, we'll call it a grayscale image. This is what those figures are going to look like. Remind me a little bit of headliners, a little bit of loyal subjects. Just an interesting toy line. I'll be very interested to see where that line goes in 2025. To me, not as good as the big rubber guys, of course. That's going to be my bread and butter from the Major Bendy's Corp. But we did see Macho Man shown off in grayscale, brown scale, whatever you want to call it there. Moving away from wrestling, just a little notes this week. Not a ton of stuff going on. Geldor, Mattel Creations exclusive next week. Be ready for that, Masters Universe Origins fans. Getting another one of those deep cut guys. Probably a good thing he's over at Mattel Creations. So that'll be next week. Dark Avengers Warbird, a little fan channel exclusive action this week up for pre-sale right now. Go to your local place, your favorite place, maybe Jay's Toys and Games. Pick this one up if that is your thing. We also saw NECA toys. Those Ben Cooper kids, I thought they were off my yard at least for another year, but nope, they're back in action. Looks like the fans voted. We will be getting a Wolfman Ben Cooper kid, probably coming around the holiday season next year. Like I said before, I would love to see those figures just come around the holiday season each year. I think that's the fun time. But man, that Ben Cooper collection is growing and growing. It's absolutely wild how many figures they have made and how many more are still coming out. So be on the lookout for those if that is your thing. And then we end this week toy news before we get to the album of the week with a little Todd McFarlane. Todd on the couch, how are you doing? Oh, doing good, Todd. It's good to see you again. It's good to have you back on the couch the last couple of weeks. You're not as chatty as you once were, but man, those toes wiggling like a wild man. But Todd, I heard the great news. It looks like Adam West, of course, the Adam West Batman figure, an all-timer. Definitely give me on the McFarlane top 10. We did see Adam West was nominated for the Action Figure of the Year for 2024. 2025, the Toy Foundation will be picking their winners, but kudos to you, Todd McFarlane. We're going to do the Bat Tootsie in celebration for you. Looking good over there, Todd. So Todd getting some great news this week, of course. And Todd, no rest for the wicked, of course. Toy announcements every single day between statues, other properties, things like that. But this week, we did see go up for pre-order on Friday the latest and greatest Page Punchers wave with a Batman Animated Series Red Hood, a very good-looking Shazam figure, and then, of course, another Christopher Reeve Superman. I think we're going to get all that kind of stuff from Todd before you know it. But let's get Lex Luthor. Let's get some of these other ones, Todd. You're working on it? Oh, Todd's working on it, so we're here for that as well. But a lot going on with McFarlane Toys. Per the norm, always thinking over there from the couch. You always got an iPad and a pen and paper right in arm's distance. And then, of course, some lotion for your feet. Just rubbing those feet all the time. So shout out Todd McFarlane on the couch. But that is it. That's the toy news this week. Now we got to turn our attention to Album of the Week. All right, Album of the Week time, but real quick, some late-breaking toy news as I'm filming this one. Title Run Toys, the newest, latest retro company. Looks like they got Ernest the Cat Miller signed to the line. We're going to get our first Ernest Cat Miller figure in really a long time there. So it's going to be interesting to stay tuned, see what happens with that one. But now, let's get down to Album of the Week. And I did just get my copy in the mail. I was traveling this week. I was over there in the old Quad Cities. Shout out to Bettendorf, Davenport, Rock Island, and Moline. Looking at you, Moline. I was rocking and rolling, strolling my time over there this week. So I got home, got a lot of packages and things, and this album was a part of that. What album are we talking about? It is the Singles Collection 95 to 2006. A little bit of forgotten Motorhead years. A 2 album here with all the singles from those years. Also some bonus tracks, some radio edits, and some interviews on this one. And you know me, Motorhead guy through and through, you knew I had to buy this one, so I did pick this up. This is the album of the week. Haven't listened to it yet, but I have listed all these songs 100 times over the years as well. Can't wait to check out some of these live versions, and of course the interviews, which I guess are unheard. So at least there's something new. I'm always here for some Motorhead. You guys know me, so if you're after that one, Amazon, the usual places, have that one in physical media if that is your thing. But this week for me, gonna be a big week of concerts. Monday night, Night Demon, Overkill, King Diamond, oh, a triple bill that cannot be missed. Can't wait to see the Night Demon guys, of course, great friends of the channel. Be fun to go to that show, and of course, King Diamond never disappoints live in concert. Can't wait to see that Monday night. Wednesday night, Exodus is in town. Of course, thrash metal legends of all time, Gary Holt and the boys, they will be in town as well, so I'm going to that. Thursday, possibly Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I've been wanting to see them forever. I've never went to their show. I feel like it's worth seeing at least once. I might be able to go, I might not, depending on my kids' conferences for their school, so we'll see how that ends up shaking out. Then Saturday, Ace Frehley is in town. Can't wait to go see the Spaceman live in concert. My daughter Emma, who is a huge Ace fan, this will be her first time ever seeing Ace in concert, and she's going in full face paint. Full face paint. Shout out to old Emma there. And then it sounds like Sunday, the day after, I will be going to Omaha with the wife and kids. Once again, gonna put on my daddy duty, and I'm gonna sit in the car as they go see Billie Eilish. Yes, Billie Eilish. I don't really have an interest in Billie Eilish, unfortunately. I know the name, I don't know the songs. I don't think it's gonna be my kind of music. So I will probably sit in the car instead of paying $200 a ticket or whatever it is. I'm just not that fan. I'm not going to spend that. And unfortunately for me, the dogs, they got to get all their shots and all that. It's like $500. Got to get a new snowblower. That's like $800, if not more. So I'm like, I'll probably put that $200 towards one of those kind of things, unfortunately. It gets expensive this time of year, of course. But the kids really want to go. So I will sit in the car. I will sit there and probably edit videos is what I'll do for a few hours while they're in there enjoying their time. So a very busy week next week for me, maybe for you as well. But that is it. That's the toy news of the week. How about you? Any good news out of you? Anything that really excites you? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on this Powertown debacle. What? Oh yeah, conspiracy, Todd. Todd Farland with the conspiracy. Of course, the Powertown conspiracy. Let me know your thoughts on the toy news in the comments down below. Of course, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day and then some. We got even more content for you over on Patreon. Patreon, everything over there. A lot of stuff. Tons of stuff on Patreon. Appreciate the support. ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. My book, now available in Kindle as well as softcover and hardcover at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It is the complete guide to the Jakks Classic Superstars series. A great gift this Christmas season. And don't forget Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So, for another week of toy news, you know what I'm doing? I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling my way to another weekend.